Okay guys, in today's video we're going to be going over more information that we got yesterday from PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan during his GamesIndustry.biz interview. It was a very lengthy interview, but there is so much information in there and a lot of it is so interesting, and it's pretty much Sony's way of letting us know what their plans are with the PlayStation 5 and next generation. Yesterday we went over the two really big points: that Herman Hulst is now the head of Sony Worldwide Studios, and also that Jim Ryan is coming out here and straight up confirming that their big AAA exclusives will not be hitting PlayStation Now day and date anytime soon, shutting down any of the speculation that people have had for a while now, that because Microsoft's doing that, now Sony's going to do that. Well, it turns out that's not the case. They are not going to devalue their console. They're not going to, in their eyes, devalue their IP as well. Some people believe that this is Sony taking a shot at Microsoft. I don't necessarily see it that way. I think that's honestly just kind of using common sense, if I'm being honest here. But anyway, today is Death Stranding Day. I am well aware of that, and the reason why I'm not talking about it yet is because as you're listening to this, I am most likely playing the game for the first time myself, and I told you guys that I want to get a pretty decent amount of time invested into the game before I give my thoughts on it, so that way I'm not just jumping to one conclusion. I want to take my time with it and soak it all in before I talk about it. So in the coming days you can look forward to that, but I've seen a lot of you letting me know how you're finally playing it yourself and you're really enjoying it, and I'm really happy to hear that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, some interesting conversation to be had about Death Stranding over the next week or two. So, going into this information here, Sony is sitting here saying that or Jim Ryan, I should say, is saying that they have plans to transition people from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 as quickly as they possibly can, and he's emphasizing two things. One, that developers are having the easiest time ever developing games for the PlayStation 5, more so than any other PlayStation console in the past, which is fantastic news, but also that his focus is on the games when it comes to PlayStation 5, and how he is well aware that the games are what is going to end up making or breaking their next-gen console. So let's read what it says here. There are gamers who are networked and sticky and engaged and passionate about PlayStation to an extent that we have not seen in previous generations. As we move towards the next generation in 2020, one of our tasks, probably our main task, is to take that community and transition it from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, and at a scale and pace that we've never delivered on before. One thing that makes me particularly optimistic that we've been hearing from developers and publishers is the ease in which they are able to get code running on PlayStation 5. It's way beyond any experience they've had on any other PlayStation platform. Ryan says he's confident in what PS5 has to bring. There is plenty more to announce beyond what has been shared this year, and he's personally focused on the games that will make or break PlayStation 5, just as they do every platform. Yet to really deliver on its promise, Ryan says PlayStation simply had to globalize. Now that's something else that was talked about at length in this interview, is how PlayStation is planning to globalize, which essentially what that means is they're trying to streamline everything and make it so that there's just pretty much one large table that everybody sits at where they make their decisions with each other, rather than having like 4 or 5 separate tables with different groups of people making those decisions and then kind of having to go back and forth between each table. I think that this is a really good thing, because it's just ultimately going to mean things are going to get done at a quicker pace, and there's not going to be as much internal conflict because of this. So it's a good thing overall. But speaking to what he says here about transitioning people from the PS4 to the PS5, this is such a significant thing, because I feel, first of all, that there's something here that if you read between the lines, there's something we can get from this and extract from it. And it has to do with the idea of PlayStation 5 exclusives versus games being announced by Sony for the PS5 that are going to be cross-gen. If what he is saying here is true, where they're trying to transition players from PS4 to PS5 at a scale and pace that we've never delivered on before, that is no easy task. And with him saying that with such confidence and determination, what that tells me is that Sony has some big things planned that we don't know about yet. And in a way, I feel like this could potentially, again, I just need to let you know here that this is just me speculating. I could be completely wrong, but again, I like to try to read between the lines and understand what exactly it is people are trying to say and what Jim Ryan exactly is trying to say here. He was sure to emphasize that this is, they still have a lot more to announce about the PlayStation 5 beyond what we already know and what they've talked about this year. This could be potentially him hinting at two things. The first thing is him hinting at the idea that, and even though this may not come as a surprise to some people, we do need to understand that I think it is a little bit surprising, is that most of the games, if not all of the games that are going to be announced alongside the PlayStation 5 will be true PS5 exclusives, and there will be very little, maybe even no, cross-gen titles announced from Sony. And the reason why I emphasize this is because when he talks about the games being make or break for them, well, this is an area where they understand that the only way you're going to get people to go out there and buy the PlayStation 5, or one of the only ways, one of the biggest strengths they have, is you got to offer games, but you also have to make it so that you can only play those games on the PlayStation 5. So if your goal is to sell that hardware, that's how you sell that hardware. Sony is well aware of this, and I think that this is a great thing in my opinion, because first of all, it means that certain games will not be held back. It means that they're going to be able to take full advantage of the PlayStation 5's power, which is amazing in my opinion, but it also means that they're showing a lot of confidence that, yeah, they think the PlayStation 5 is worth making it so their games are just locked to this box. And even though some people may not like that, for people who appreciate console gaming and want to see it to continue to grow, I think that that's a good thing. Like, for me, the PlayStation 5 is sounding like it's going to be potentially the best console ever made. And something else that I'm getting from what he's saying here is one of the only ways, in my opinion, they're going to be able to get people to really ditch their PS4 for a PS5 is going to be through backwards compatibility. And we've been talking for a while now about whether or not Sony is going to have backwards compatibility beyond PlayStation 4. Are they going to have it for PS3, PS2, and PS1? And honestly, again, this is just me speculating. It seems to me this is a very subtle hint that there is going to be some serious incentive there for people to basically trade in their PS4s, sell their PS4s because they want the PS5, because it's going to be the ultimate PlayStation console that you must have. And between having awesome PlayStation 5 exclusive games at the launch or within the first year of it launching, another way they could do that very easily, because I've seen the reaction of some people and how they would feel if this ends up happening with the whole backwards compatibility thing through every generation of PlayStation, that would be huge. That would make so many people buy a PS5. It would be just monumental for Sony. Like, make no mistake about that. So I'm really going deep into this quote because, well, first of all, on a surface level, it's really great to hear that they are very confident in the PS5 and they are going to do whatever they can to get people to transition to the PS5 at a pace and scale that they've never seen before. What that tells me is they are still 100% behind consoles, trying to sell consoles, and they're supporting consoles. That makes me happy as a console gamer, and it's also great to hear that developers are having an easier time getting code running on this. And again, on a surface level, it's great to hear Jim Ryan letting us know that they are aware that the games are going to make or break the PS5, and so with that knowledge, we can expect some awesome games at the launch or around the launch of the PlayStation 5. Really fantastic news there, and I'm really happy to relay this info to you guys. And I wanted to add that speculative area there, and I want you to let me know down below in the comments, do you agree with me? Do you think that this is Jim Ryan's subtle way of letting us know that in order to achieve that, because you're talking about 100 million PS4s out there, there's going to be a lot of people it's going to be a hard sell for them to upgrade to the PS5. Do you think that this is his way of letting us know there's going to be exclusive games that are only exclusive on PS5 and that potentially they are going to have backwards compatibility that goes beyond PS4? Let me know down below. But we're going to end this video by going over the information really quickly here that Sony has opened a new studio in Malaysia, and it's been reported by GamesIndustry.biz. Says this latest addition to Worldwide Studios will act as a support team to other PlayStation developers, helping to produce art and animation for upcoming exclusive titles. It will also be of benefit to the country's growth within the games industry, as noted by, I cannot pronounce this individual's name. It's a very long name, so apologies for that. But this individual is the Minister of Communications and Multimedia of Malaysia. And they went on to say, with this establishment, Malaysia will be working closely with Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios to create more opportunities for the local and regional games industry, he said. Impressive talent, a vibrant game ecosystem, and support for the government are key reasons why we have decided to take our partnership with Malaysia to the next level, added PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. So I wanted to throw this in at the end here because this is pretty significant. This is Sony not only showing that they're trying to further expand globally and really build up PlayStation in other areas of the world. But this is good for Sony Studios in general because they're going to be having a whole nother studio here that's basically a backup studio that can help out other studios that may need that extra help or that extra boost, because as we know, Sony is continuing to make their games bigger and bigger and bigger when it comes to AAA and really just pushing the limits. And there's no doubt that it's an incredibly difficult thing for them to do this, when you talk about the developers and the studios, and it's a lot of pressure. And so when they have these moments where they need that extra muscle, they need the extra manpower, they need the extra help to help them along, now there's going to be a studio in Malaysia that is affiliate that Sony is building from the ground up that will be able to help specifically with those things. That is honestly fantastic news. What that ultimately translates to at the end of the day is bigger and better games at a more efficient rate. So I mean, this is how Sony is going for big games, when they have studios that are being built to just straight up back up the main studios that are doing these massive projects. That's how we are in for some absolutely massive games next generation with the PlayStation 5. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below, what we went over here. I think it's some pretty important news. Also, be sure to let me know if you've been playing Death Stranding over the past day and or the past 12 hours. Let me know how it's been for you. What has your experience been like? I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. Be sure to leave the video a like if you did enjoy it, if you're happy to hear this news, or if you found it informative. Really helps it out. Lets me know you guys are enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.